Hello and welcome to Ironman Tutorials for Novices Part 2. This one is going to be kit advice for the bike. So starting with bike frame and size, the most key thing here is that bike's going to have to fit you very well, like a glove, and then you're going to be able to do your 3 to 8 hours in the saddle, and you're still going to be fitting well enough to get your run leg done successfully. So if you're not sure about getting your bike fit correct, you can either refer to my basic video on my channel, or you can go to bike shops or look at other videos online. In terms of safety points here, I like to mention that wider handlebars are just a little bit more stable when you're turning and steering your bike. And that can be important if you end up on a bike course that you're not that familiar with and you hit some twists and turns that you're not expecting. And other thing is comfort and familiarity of your bike is going to equal a safer bike. And my golden tip here is that whatever you go for in the end, it's got to be properly tried, tested and reliable. And beyond that, the exact style that you choose is of little importance. Tri-bars. So triathlon and TT bikes, these are going to already have these on, but be mindful that these type of bikes may have a slightly odd setup at the front end where you don't have what we would call normal drop handlebars. So you've got to think about safety, comfort and reliability when it comes to that. Bear in mind it's easy to fit a pair of tri-bars to a standard bike. The pluses of having a pair of bars on gives you more positions when you're on long rides, especially if you've think about tired arms and shoulders. And you can also potentially get more aerodynamic on your tri-bars. The cons, you need to make sure that they are properly tried, tested and reliable. So that's going to mean extra training and extra practice with them, and they are deemed very dangerous in group riding, so they're not allowed in group cycles or cycling clubs, so therefore you're going to be doing training by yourself most likely. My golden tip here is seriously consider a pair of these, but on a standard handlebar set, and then you're sort of getting the best of all worlds. Bike style and type. There are so many available now, I think it can be very confusing. There's tri-specific, and I'm not talking about tricycles. There's TT, aero road, racing, endurance, gravel, hybrid, cyclocross, e-bikes, mountain bikes, you name it. But the take-home message here is any of these type of bikes, bar the obvious ones like mountain bike, unicycle, e-bike, are a reasonable choice, providing that you just follow that golden rule that is tried, tested, and you can rely on it to get you over that bike course within the time limits. Now, one point here, triathlon and TT bikes can be much more uncomfortable than standard bikes. And worst case scenario, you get one of these type of bikes, you've not really tried and tested it properly and put yourself through your paces on it. Then you have it in your race, and it's going to cause you potentially muscle strains or injuries, which could jeopardize your run. So think very carefully about that. My golden tips here is just whatever you do, don't let a fancy new tri-bike or TT cause you a did not finish. If you think of the hours that you'll have put into this race by then, it would be a real shame. And as a beginner, the most key thing here is going to be that you finish that bike leg within the cut-off time, and it doesn't really matter beyond that what the bike is. Do not go for style over substance. And if you want to know about bike leg cut-off times, you must check the race rules on that one. If obviously you can get a beautiful bike and look amazing on it and get through on the time cut-off, then go for it. Chain and gears. Lots of options, especially for the gears these days, from electric to various different mechanical ones. Simple golden rule again, whatever you're going to choose, you need to personally be very confident that you're going to get through that bike leg with whatever you've got. So tried, tested and reliable. My golden tips here is that I would say just bear in mind that your chain, although it's not snapped before, if you end up on a steep hill and accidentally trying to change gears when you shouldn't be, you could be snapping that chain. So just put your own chain that you're going to have on your race bike on the day through its paces beforehand, and then you're less likely to have that disaster. In terms of gears, on the day, it's going to be a case of if you get to an event and you've not tested your gears are working correctly after you've travelled there and you may have dismantled and rebuilt your bike, that could be a problem. So just make sure you're checking these things at least the day before the actual race, and then you've got time to get some bike support if you need, or you can fix them yourself. In terms of seat and saddle, properly tried, tested and reliable. Golden tips, you're going to have to put many hours in to get used to any seat. So turbo trainer on the roads, a mixture of both most likely. From a medical point of view, it's important not to spend too much time on a saddle which is pressing on the pudendal nerve, which is right in between your legs, because this could cause temporary or even possibly permanent sexual dysfunction. First symptoms of this tends to be prolonged numbness or tingling. So the way to avoid this is just make sure if you're in a standard saddle that most of your body weight is going through your sit bones or ischial tuberosities of the pelvis. Or you can go for a special saddle that has like a split nose, which is designed to keep the pressure off that nerve. But if you're going to try one of those, again, you need to just make sure you've done the miles in it first. And to that end, properly tried, tested and reliable is going to outweigh anything else by a long way. Boring but true. And you can look up more about pudendal nerve and your ischial tuberosities in your own time if you're interested. Brakes, properly tried, tested, reliable. I would say the golden tip is just same as gears. Make sure they're working right at least the day before when you get to the venue. So if there are any sudden unexpected issues, you've got time to get them sorted. Wheels, tyres, inner tubes, wheel systems, same again. Properly tried, tested, reliable. What a surprise. So lots of options here, possibly too many. Who knows? Well, my golden tips are whatever you're going to go for, those tyres should be durable, good condition and good quality. And also there should be some tread on those tyres as well, because slicks, it's not going to give you any tangible gains, and it just leaves you open for sliding off your bike if you hit any water or grease, oil, etc. Tyre width, it's anything between 23 and 30 millimeter will be fine. It's just whatever you decide to go for. Some slightly thicker widths potentially take a little bit of the sting out of the road of bumps, but regarding rolling distances, it's not that relevant. So I would say think ahead to punctures. Whatever wheel system you've gone for, I would strongly advise that if you want to finish that race, you need to be capable of dealing with a puncture or two at the side of the road without external support. There will be support on the courses, but it's not always available in a timely manner because they need to cover the whole course. So I've always used clinchers, tyres and wheels, and then spare inner tubes, just because that's what I was brought up on, and I know I can deal with those myself without needing any technical assistance, and I know I can finish my race even if I get the punctures with those. If you're going to go for other wheel systems like your tubular or tubeless, just make sure you get that good advice about them, and that you've tried and tested them beforehand. Last point here, the very deep rim wheels, although they can look incredibly good, think about severe strong crosswinds and they could be blowing you about on your bike, so just bear that in mind. Lastly here, electronics and monitoring. My golden tips are: you should always roughly know how far you've gone in the bike ride, so you know how far you've got left to go, and also you need to know roughly how long you've been riding for, so that you're keeping an eye on these basic things. But a simple, reliable distance monitor and a clock should tell you these details. Whereas if you start to get more overly focused on things like your exact speed during the course, and average speed, cadence and power, etc., this can cause riders more problems than it's worth if you're a beginner. But we will come to this properly in race strategy and race prep sections. And that is end of tutorial 2. So look forward to speaking to you for tutorial 3.